it's now time for Compas on the NFL. What was your biggest takeaway from week 1 of the preseason?
Yeah, some people here try to
I
make
was
me
right, you
make
were
me
wrong.
try to make me do this as a burial of the week, and I'm not gonna bury anybody for preseason football. I'm not that. What's the word for it, Fernando? I don't know, full of myself when it comes to stuff
Conceited,
like that.
arrogant.
There you go. I'm not arrogant, and I also don't want to root for a player not to do well, but to kind of give you a backstory, for my camp visit for the 49ers, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, everybody, all eyes on the quarterbacks, and I just wrote in my story, what I saw that day, Monday of last week. I said Brock Purdy looked good, and that's why he's going to be the starter for sure. No debate about it. And then I wrote, well, Trey Lance really struggled the day I was there. He threw an interception on the first pass. He couldn't get the ball going. He had a couple of running plays, but he couldn't throw well. Sam Darnold was a little shaky too, but he did better. So I wrote, it was Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance. And people took that as me saying that Lance is having a bad camp. You should have seen all the comments from. There was about 60 comments from 49er fans telling me to get a new job. You stink. You know what you're talking about. Get a new set of eyes, because I do wear contacts though, so they got that right. And then we had the preseason game. Was it Sunday or Saturday? And Trey Lance just really struggled. And I'm not trying to say I was right about it, but I'm like, okay, regardless of what side you're on, like, can we tone it down of people, being attacked on social media, because Trey Lance obviously is not ready, and it's just kind of my stance. And go ahead, Fernando.
Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
I kind of look like Luke Skywalker because I was proven right.
No, and you were, and it's funny. I watched the game, and he was getting sacked left and right. Like, he just did not look like
too, right?
Like, Isaac Rochelle and some other people were getting to him, and I'm like, whoa! I was like, what's going on here? And then he obviously threw that touchdown pass that really wasn't designed to go to the player that he was throwing to. But it's funny, that reminded me of me when I was at Disneyland one time, and those basketball things, if you shoot, you get a prize or whatever. Well, I shot one once, and it went bang, bang, and it hit off of 3 rims, and it went in on the final one. I'm like, hey, I still made it. And the guy's like, well, I don't know about that. I'm like, no, I still made
counts.
it. So Trey Lance was like,
hey,
it still counts as a touchdown. But yeah, what I saw is, dude, you need to cut bait. Don't even, like, a player like him, and he hasn't played football in 4 years. Like, he hasn't played football probably since since that 1 year that he had in North Dakota State, but he's a dangerous player to keep around, especially if he, like, I don't know what his attitude is. I don't know what the attitude is towards everything going on, but I don't know if that's somebody that you want to keep in on the team and everything. But I mean, I was watching that game, and I just started laughing because I'm like, Gilbert was right. Like, Gilbert was right about Trey Lance and the way he struggled. And I'm sure a lot of fans had to eat crow. That stadium was packed, by the way, in red.
Yeah.
There was a lot of 49er fans, but
a really expensive preseason game, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the prices were like $150 average just to kind of get in. I'm not going to pay that much for a preseason game. But but on Trey Lance, like, you kind of feel bad for the guy. Like, he's been hurt, and then, like, this team is ready to go now. Like you're not waiting for a developmental play. There you go. And like you mentioned, North Dakota State, he had a 5, 8, 9 starts, and Brock Purdy had a bunch of starts at Iowa State. Like, he was almost like a 3-year starter, I think, in the Big 12, and he was a really good player. But I don't know. It just feels like, like you mentioned, I don't know if that's too soon to cut bait, but the writing was on the wall when they got Sam Darnold. I know the Brock Purdy injury kind of played into it, but, like, it just feels like Brock Purdy's a starter, and then you got Sam Darnold as a backup, and Trey Lance, like, what's going on here? Like, you could maybe trade the guy, and then you're trying to trade the guy, and he has a terrible performance in the preseason. What value do you have? And then it's starting to become, I saw, what was it? I forget the guys from ESPN. Somebody called it the worst trade in NFL history in the draft or whatever it was.
Well, look at what it got Miami. It got Miami Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, which Bradley Chubb I don't know about yet, but on the Dolphins. And then it got them Jalen Waddle. Like, those are 3 basically premier players that they got. And it's like, if the 49ers would have guessed right, and I'm not saying Mac Jones was right, but if the 49ers would have played this right, they could have probably won a Super Bowl by now. But it just doesn't feel like they're close because of that debacle that they had trying to get Trey Lance. And everybody thought, oh, well, Kyle Shanahan's a guru. He knows exactly what he's doing. Well, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had a big whiff when it comes to
that's the
Trey
thing
Lance.
too, Fernando, because I don't know if reports were true or not, but you could tell there was some kind of rift in the front office. Like why are all these Mac Jones reports coming out in the lead up to the 2021 draft? And it
The
feels
day
like
of too.
Yeah, like it feels like Kyle Shanahan really wanted Mac Jones, and then like the public perception was like, you can't do that. You traded all these picks for Mac Jones, and I think they kind of fell for that noise, the public kind of criticism, and maybe it was John Lynch. I don't know who it was, but you could tell kind of some kind of public opinion shifted them to Trey Lance, and then let's be real about Kyle Shanahan. He's a quarterback guru, but he's never had like a big time star quarterback. Was it RG3 that 1 year? I guess
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan was pretty. I guess he was an MVP. Okay, I'll say that, but he's not like you don't think about Matt Ryan that way. But,
no. But I'm saying like I was trying to remember quarterbacks that he's had.
It feels like the Kyle Shanahan system is kind of like you don't need to be like an elite superstar. You just got to be good enough, and that's all they need right now. And Brock Purdy is good enough, and Trey Lance just kind of seems like he's not ready to even be good enough. And I'm not trying to knock the kid, but it's going to take a year or two, and you can't do it when you're never playing. So maybe for him, they do him a favor and just trade him somewhere else.
He needs new voices in his ear. Maybe.
I don't know.
But you know what? You're right. But to win the Super Bowl, you do need some like that special because remember, Jimmy G had who was the receiver? I think there was a receiver that they had on their team. I can't remember his name right now. He was a veteran in the league, but he came up wide open at the end of that game, and Jimmy G overthrew him. If he would have put it in the breadbasket, he would have walked into the end zone and they would have won the Super Bowl. But I mean, that's kind of where you need that elite quarterback, or not elite, but like up in that upper echelon, like in tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. If you would have had a quarterback like that, maybe. But I mean, heck, even if you would have traded for Kirk Cousins and not traded that big old pick, maybe you'd be good enough and you might win. And you've heard rumors about him because he was on that staff that they drafted RG3, but then they drafted Kirk Cousins in the 4th. Remember all the commotion that I don't know if you remember that because it was such a long time ago. I remember all the commotion that caused. Like, why would you go get Kirk Cousins if you have RG3? And the Washington, whatever they were known as back then, they were right. I mean, they were right ultimately. I mean, RG3 was good for 1 year and then it kind of went away. But this is an RG3 debate. It's kind of Kyle Shanahan and it's like if you don't whiff on that pick, and it kind of seems like that was a John Lynch move.
Feels like it.
But then at the same time, it kind of makes me think like maybe he was so arrogant that he's like, oh, I can make Trey Lance into a winner. Like I can do this, I can do that. But at the same time, I don't know because I'm not a big Mac Jones. I'm not a big Trey Lance guy. Like coming out of the draft, I'm like, why would you want either one of these guys? Like
Justin Fields was there for the taking without having to trade.
Oh, well, actually, the speed. If you
what
add
noise
him,
was that, by the way?
Well, I mean, I just. But if you add Christian
it's
McCaffrey,
better though than those two guys, I'll say that.
No, I know, but if you have Justin Fields, Deebo Samuel, and McCaffrey, shit, you might have the fastest lineup. Triple options, like all kinds of different stuff would be on there. But I completely understand where you're coming from with this, though.
Yeah, but I feel like you need a guy who's a polished pocket passer to give the ball to all these great playmakers, and that's what Brock Purdy does. So I know we'll see if Justin Fields does better in terms of accuracy, but so far, by the way, good preseason number 1 with DJ Moore.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Justin kind of threw that a little hard, and I thought DJ was about to drop it, but hey, Justin, just tap it in. Just
give it to your playmaker, man.
Exactly. But yeah, 2 really good plays. Chicago's offensive line, if they're better this year, they're gonna be a better team.
You mentioned them last week, right? Was it or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. I said if their offensive line is better than that, they're gonna go as their offensive line. And it feels like they kind of put some pieces in there. But man, if I remember when Eberflus was hired, everybody's like, oh, what the heck? Or like, what a bonehead hire. Man, he might. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be good or he's going to be bad, but if he can get that defense working and the offense obviously protecting him, that should definitely boost them up. But I'm just going with the preseason hype beast. I mean, you know how it is. Like Elijah Dotson ran the ball for the Chargers this weekend. Good. He did a great job. And then I started seeing on Twitter, oh my God, he's probably going to make the 53-man roster. I'm like, Michael Bandy. But he could do this. He could do that, Michael Bandy. He's going to do this, and he's the next running back, Michael Bandy. And then obviously it didn't help that the Chargers waived Larry Roundtree on Monday morning. That hyped that beast up even more. And I'm kind of like, I would wait a little bit. Like I've seen some of the hype up from over the weekend. The one thing that I was interested in, though, Baltimore Ravens extending their preseason win total to 25 games in a row or something.
That's insane
like,
to me.
That to me is like, wow. Like,
how do you care so much about that? Like, but
yeah, like
care.
that was weird. I thought there were some good moments by the Broncos. I thought there were some weird moments by them against the Cardinals. Obviously, we'll get into that a little bit more, but I was surprised that Sean Payton went so long with them. But hey, they went from suck last year to hey, you got to get that. Like, it's like you have to beat the stupid out of them and get that stuff, like shake them out of it. So I understand why they did that, but I don't know. I guess I'm of that component that I'm like, I kind of agree with what Brandon Staley and Sean McVay and all these guys do about sitting their guys, just because I'm like, dude, like, especially with the Chargers, you've seen that injury bug. Gilbert, you've been around that injury bug. It's like, why would you want to risk any of these guys? Let them just let them sit back and like we said, preseason or joint practice and all that, let them practice there. But I totally get where they're coming from with that. But you mentioned it at the beginning, Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook. What did you? I mean, it was just a run on running backs. Like, first Zeke gets the job, and then Dalvin gets it. I thought Dalvin was going to go to the Jets all along. I think he sees the offensive line, and we've been talking about this. The offensive line in Miami. You saw that play where Tua, like, everybody gets up, like everybody pancakes each other, and Tua's just standing there, and the guy comes up and touches him, and then he throws down the field or whatever. But I think Dalvin thought that offensive line is not that good. This Jets team looks like it could be a Super Bowl contender. You know what? I'm going to go over with the Jets. What did you make of Dalvin signing with the Jets?
You know, the first thing I thought was like, oh, maybe Dalvin and his agent were trying to see how much money Zeke would get, and then they could play off of that. And okay, give me more because I'm better than Zeke right now in this stage of their career.
Yeah.
But it also tells him too, like, you know, he got $8 million or 8.5 almost guaranteed. Dalvin Cook, which is nice, you know, for a running back. But
it's not even incentive based.
No, like he almost got that. I think it was close to $8 million guaranteed, but worth up to, you know, the funny money of $8.5 million for 1 year. I'm like, that's pretty cool, pretty good for a running back. But then I'm like, if you're Saquon and you're Josh Jacobs or you're not Tony Pollard, I think he's okay with what he's taking. But if you're trying to get like $14 million or more than that, that is a huge gap. Are you saying you're that much better than Dalvin Cook? No, I'm not saying Dalvin Cook is in the prime of his career. He's kind of on the way down. But if you're Saquon, you're probably scratching your head, or even Jonathan Taylor, like, it might be looking more like $12 million per year. So if you have $14 million on the table per year, you better take that real quick. But that's the whole topic about the salaries.
No, yeah. Little Daniel messaged me and he goes, "Why wouldn't the Chargers sign him?" I'm like, "Are you crapping me?" I'm not to not say the other word.
Which is it's a lot still.
No, but you're gonna pay him more money than you're gonna pay Austin Eckler.
What is that one, like 7 or 8 also, like for the year, right?
Austin?
Yeah.
Austin's at 6.25, but with the incentives, it bumps him up to 8.25.
Which that's same thing. Another good running back, and that's all they're getting.
Exactly,
right,
but this fool would be almost all guaranteed, and the other dude's incentive based, and he's gonna take touches away from him. I'm like, dude, just stick to baseball or whatever. Like, stop asking me this crap. Like, because I mean, we don't know what Dalvin's faced a lot of injuries in his career as well.
Yeah.
So what does he have left in the gas tank? We don't know. I mean, because age is almost nothing. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, dude, Zeke has been in the NFL for about 7. I think this is his 8th year. He's only 28 years old, and he's already run down basically. Like, because you know what I remembered? Because Joey just said the other day, "Oh yeah, I'm 28 years old, and this is my 8th year." And I'm like, wait, he came out with Zeke. I'm like, damn, Zeke is still only 28, and he's already run down. Like, that's what the Cowboys have done. They did it with DeMarco Murray. They did it with Zeke. Like, they run guys into the ground, and they're just not the same. So when it comes to the Zeke thing, I think they're just getting a power back for the end zone, to be completely honest. I don't think, and for first, like on 4th and 1, 3rd and inches, stuff like that, I think that's why they got Zeke. I just don't see it for anything else. But it is going to be weird to see Zeke go like this in a Patriots uniform, like to do the
you see a Bill Belichick like, "Oh, stop doing that, Zeke," every time on the camera.
But let me ask you, what do you think? Do you think that takes away carries from Stevenson? Like, it must mean that they kind of feel like they need some kind of a thumper for those kinds of plays, like the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
It is interesting because Stevens is also kind of that big back. He's a bruiser,
Yeah.
but he's obviously younger and he does a little more for you in terms of being a versatile running back. But I like the move because it's different roles. Like maybe for your goal line, maybe if for fantasy football, you're gonna hate it because he's gonna be the vulture taking the goal line carries.
Don't draft any Patriots running backs.
Yeah, I know, and that's why even before that, I'm like, stay away because Bill Belichick, you never know.
I always stay
the guy,
away from him.
and then like a month later, some other dude. But the main thing with Zeke is like he's always been a great pass protector. So if you're Mac Jones and you want extra blocking, it's gonna cost you $5-6 million. Okay, go get Zeke, and I actually like that. The Dalvin Cook one, I feel like it's more like, okay, we need you, but Breece Hall, once he's actually ready to go, we're gonna switch there, and I like that too. But for $8 million to be a placeholder is a lot to me.
But is Breece Hall like Adrian Peterson, where he can come back so quickly from that torn ACL?
Does that tell you they got Dalvin Cook because they feel like he's not ready? That's another for me.
That's the way I took it, and I took it as we want a 1-2 combo, but then at the same time, I think they want to run the football a lot too to kind of limit Aaron Rodgers from having to take big blows or big hits and stuff. So. I think that's another reason why. And also another reason why too is while Aaron is still getting comfortable with this offense, let's run the football. Let's get it. Like we don't have to, there's no urgency in getting Aaron up to complete speed because like it or not, it's going to take Aaron a little bit. I don't think it's going to be right off the bat. He's going to be all like MVP again. I think it's going to take him a little bit to kind of get used to these guys. But the Zeke one, how many weeks do you think until Zeke plays fullback? And Stevenson's right behind him, and they do like a fullback blast or something with Zeke. I feel like Bill O'Brien's gonna get creative when it comes to how they're gonna use Zeke and everything.
Yeah, if it's Bill Belichick, the one being asked to sign off, he's gonna say, "Hell yeah, for sure." He's an old school coach, and I wouldn't mind seeing that, especially like if Mac Jones struggles and he can't find his receivers like Juju Smith-Schuster and guys like that. Like, just run the ball and see what happens because they have a really good defense and. I'm starting to. I don't know if you're with me, Fernando, but I'm starting to buy more about the Patriots stock. Like I kind of feel like they might be a wild card team. I like that roster, especially the defense. Yeah,
I don't like the offense,
but now they got Zeke. No, okay, I don't know.
That doesn't do a lot. I like the defense. I really like Christian Gonzalez, dude. That dude could like, especially because we all know Bill Belichick knows how to. How do you desarrollar? He knows how to like. Develop. There you go. He knows how to develop cornerbacks, and you see like J.C. Jackson got paid. Other guys have gotten paid. Like we've seen, Stephon Gilmore took that next step with Bill Belichick. Darrelle Revis was great. He became almost in God mode when he got up to. I mean, he was great. He's always been up there. But I'm saying, like, when he joined Bill Belichick that year, he was really. And I remember I got to see it in person. I got to see it when they played the Chargers, and he literally took 2014. I can't remember who he took, but he was guarding Gates actually most of the game. He kind of took Antonio Gates away, and that's a corner doing that. So it was just it's impressive to watch Darrelle Revis play in the way. I remember in that playoff game against the Chargers and Jets, where the Chargers were like 12-4, 13-3, and everybody thought, he's going to steamroll him. He literally had Vincent Jackson in his back pocket the whole game. So definitely
the missed field goal game, right?
No, the missed field goal game was in 2004. This one was Vincent Jackson had gotten a DUI the night before. He called Phillip Rivers to go get him. It was like a whole mess.
Jets and Chargers had another playoff game after that?
Yeah, in 2009. They started off the year 3-3, and then they went on a fat win streak of 10 games in a row. Like they were coming back. They were blowing teams out. They were doing, and everybody thought, oh crap, maybe this is the year. And obviously North Turner bottled it away, and his play calling in the playoffs was just terrible.